Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Guru Maharaj Sri Prabhupada. I think Swapna Mataji, whenever you're ready, you can start Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we will continue reading from the 4th Canto, chapter 18, entitled Prithu Maharaj Milks the Earth Planet, from text 11 onwards. My dear king, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level. This will help me. Even when the rainy season has ceased, rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Text 12. After hearing the auspicious and pleasing words of the planet Earth, the king accepted them. He then transformed Swayambhuva Manu into a calf and milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in his cupped hands. Text 13. Others, who were as intelligent as King Prithu, also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow in the footsteps of King Prithu and get whatever he desired from the planet Earth. Text 14. All the great sages transformed Brihaspati into a calf, and making the senses into a pot, they milked all kinds of Vedic knowledge to purify words, mind, and hearing. Text 15. All the demigods made Indra, the king of heaven, into a calf, and from the earth they milked the beverage soma, which is nectar. Thus they became very powerful in mental speculation and bodily and sensual strength. Text 16. The sons of Diti and the demons transformed Prahlad Maharaj, who was born in an Asura family, into a calf, and they extracted various kinds of liquor and beer, which they put into a pot made of iron. Text 17. The inhabitants of Gandharva Loka and Apsara Loka made Vishwavasu into a calf, and they drew the milk into a lotus flower pot. The milk took the shape of sweet musical art and beauty. Text 18. The fortunate inhabitants of Pitraloka, who preside over the funeral ceremonies, made Aryama into a calf. With great faith, they milked kavya, food offered to the ancestors, into an unbaked earthen pot. Text 19. After this, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka as well as the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka transformed the great sage Kapila into a calf, and making the whole sky into a pot, they milked out specific yogic mystic powers, beginning with anima. Indeed, the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka acquired the art of flying in the sky. Text 20. Others also, the inhabitants of planets known as Kimpurusha made the demon Maya into a calf, and they milked out mystic powers by which one can disappear immediately from another's vision and appear in a different form. Text 21. Then the Yakshas, Rakshasas, ghosts, and witches who are habituated to eating flesh transformed Lord Shiva's incarnation Rudra, Bhutanatha, into a calf and milked out beverages made of blood and put them in a pot made of skulls. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much for Namate. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Acyuta Mati, whenever you're ready, you can start Mati.
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, so thank you for giving this opportunity. And let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Madhe. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, you were planning to share your video also? You have shared?
I
Oh,
thought I
perfect. Yeah,
did.
I can see now. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, right. I'll start with prayers. Om Gyantam Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmiltamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So, just to give a recap of this chapter, basically, so what we saw is Mother Earth took the form of a calf, and she is praying to Maharaj Prithu to not be angry at her, and to because he was trying to kill her because she was not um, producing grains and other food stuff for the people and for animals and everybody, all the inhabitants of Earth, for them to survive. So that's what we saw in the first part of the chapter. And then, although she is praying to Prithu Maharaj, he wasn't getting satisfied by her prayers. So now what she does is she gives a solution. So from text 11 onwards, she is basically giving the actual solution to how to combat this issue. So the first thing that she says is, because you have to level the surface of the earth. So basically this will help when the rain comes. So this will help the rainfall um, be on the surface of the earth. And the way to receive this, to get this rainfall, is by doing sacrifices, by performing yajna. So uh, so that's what is mentioned here. And in the so that is what she mentions, that perform sacrifices, and then you'll get rainfall. King Indra will be pleased, and then um, he will um, he will give the rainfall, and then that will basically help me produce grains. So um, so that's the so Prabhupada has mentioned that basically the way to get grains and way to get sufficient amount of food grains from Mother Earth is by performing sacrifices. So after hearing this, King Prithu Maharaj is pleased, and then what he does is he transformed Swambhu Manu, Swambhu Manu into a calf, because normally milk is produced by the cow when the calf, or not produced, but basically it's easier for the cow to give milk when she sees the calf in front of her. And then that's and then so yeah, Prithu Maharaj basically said that transform Swambhu Manu into a calf, and then milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of cow. So this, and then he used his cupped hands to basically get um, those items that are milked. So from the next, from text 13, um, all the different people, all the everybody who wanted things from Mother Earth, they used Prithu Maharaj, what he did as a guide, and then did whatever and did the same thing in different forms, and got the desired results. So so whether if somebody was in the mode of ignorance or passion or goodness, whatever they wanted, based on their needs, they followed the same process. So here, Mother Earth, Prabhupada says in the purport that Mother Earth is also called as Vasundhara. So Vasu means wealth and Dhara means one who holds. So basically, one who holds wealth is known as Vasundhara. And Prabhupada says in the purport that as suggested by planet Earth and accepted and initiated by King Prithu, whatever is taken from the Earth, either from the mines, the globe, or from the atmosphere, should be considered the property of the personality of Godhead and should be used for yajna. So it's not that, it should be whatever we get from this earth, from Mother Earth is for our own consumption or for our own gratification. It should be offered as a sacrifice for yajna to satisfy Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Because as soon as that is stopped, then that was the reason that Mother Earth withheld all her items like vegetables, trees, fruits, plants, etc. So that is what is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3 and verse 10, that uh, uh, that this yagya was basically like was instituted from the beginning. So it's not that this has been that Prithu Maharaj or Mother Earth is giving this right now or giving the solution right now, but it has always been that process has always been there, and that is the process to be satisfied and get all the necessities of life. And then Prabhupada says, by regular performance of yajna, the equal distribution of wealth and restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. So by this method, it will satisfy everybody's needs, like Prabhupada said, and not the greed. So everybody will be satisfied, their needs will be satisfied, and by this process. Prabhupada also mentioned that the Sankirtana Yagya is the Yagya of the sage of Kali. So Sankirtana Yagya is holding of festivals as initiated by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, should be introduced in every town and village. So Sankirtana Yagya, and then also there is so it's basically like twofold process. So following of performance of Sankirtan Yagya and following the process of austerity. So basically, those are the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. So the next. So now from the verse from 14 till the verse 25, I believe, everybody, like different types of people are basically taking this process that King Prithu Maharaj did in terms of getting the grains and getting foodstuff from Mother Earth. So everybody follows his footsteps and get whatever they are looking for. So like in this verse, in verse 15, in this verse 14, it's mentioned that how the great sages got what they wanted. So what they wanted was Vedic knowledge, and how they got it is they transformed Brihaspati into a calf and made the census as a pot, and then they milked, and that's how they milked, and they got Vedic knowledge. So Brihaspati is the priest, like we know, he is a priest of the demigods, and yeah, so that's so he became the calf basically. So that's what is mentioned here. And then in the next verse, verse 15, the demigods made Indra, because he is the king of heaven, into a calf, and they milked soma, because soma is nectar for them, and that's how they get their strength, their bodily strength, and they become powerful. So so soma is not the liquor that we see here or that we get here, but soma is actually the beverage of the demigods, which is not an ordinary beverage. It is not intoxicating. It is a different kind of beverage, and it basically uh, so it's mentioned here that it's hiranyena patrena. That means it's not an ordinary intoxicating liquor. The demigods would not even touch any kind of liquor, nor is soma any kind of a drug. It is a different beverage, and it's only available in the heavenly planets. So that is what they need for to become powerful, and have bodily strength. So that is how the demigods milked. Then in the next verse, verse 16, the sons of Diti and the demons transformed Prahlad Maharaj, who was born into an Asura family, into a calf, and they extracted liquor and beer. So even the demigods were satisfied by following this process. So the demigods are basically yeah, I'm sorry, the demons. The demons are they have their own type of beverage. They consume beverage in the form of liquors and beers. That is what is mentioned here. So which is different than what the demigods use. And they transformed Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlad Maharaj, although he is a devotee, but he was born in the family of demons. So so he basically um, uh, like, he transformed himself, transformed into a calf, and how that's how he the demons got their drink. And then in the next verse, it's mentioned Gandharva Loka, the inhabitants of Gandharva Loka and Apsara Loka made Vishwavasu into a calf, and they drew milk into a lotus flower pot. And the milk took the shape. So basically, what they wanted was musical art and beauty. So that is what they were looking for, and that's what they got after following this process. Same thing with the inhabitants of Pitruloka. Um, they made Aryama into a calf, and they they milked kavya, which is food offered to the ancestors, uh, and that's what they that's what they got. So Prabhupada talks about Pitruloka and the process of Shraddh ceremony in the purport. Um, it so basically, there is a planet called Pitruloka, and the predominating deity of this planet is Aryama. So he's a demigod in charge of that particular planet. And either so, if you satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu or Aryama, and this is again for like non-devotees, so those who are very sinful and attached to the family, house, village, country, and do not receive a gross body, they are um, uh, they receive this subtle body made of mind, intelligence, and ego. And they basically, so it's basically a ghost body. They don't have a material body. And they go to they are living in Pitruloka. So this ghost position is very painful, because they have desires, they have mind, intelligence, and they want to enjoy the life and enjoy material life, but they are not able to do that without a gross body. So that's why they create disturbance. And it says, Prabhupada says that it is a duty of family members, especially the son, to offer oblations to the demigod Aryama or to Lord Vishnu. And the people have been doing it from a long time in India. That when the son basically does that, the son goes to Gaya, and they offer oblations for the benefit of of his forefathers. So it's not that everybody's ancestors or everybody's fathers and grandfathers become ghosts. Those who are devotees and those who have taken prasad of the Lord on a regular basis, they do not become ghost or anything lower than a human being. That's what Prabhupada says. And in the Vedic society, there is a performance called Shraddh. So Shraddh is what is basically food that is offered with faith and devotion. So food is first offered to the Lord, and then or to the representative of the Pitruloka, which is Aryama, and that's how the forefathers are also they can enjoy those offerings, and then they get rid of this body of their ghostly body. So that is what is that's how the Pitrulokas perform did that process. Then in verse 19, it's mentioned how the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, as well as inhabitants of Vidyadhar Loka, transformed the great Kapila into a calf, and making the whole sky into a pot. They milked out specific yogic mystic powers, beginning with anima. So there are, as we know, there are like 8 mystic powers. So what the Siddhaloka, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka want are the mystical powers with Siddhaloka and Vidyadhara Loka. So the two planets are mentioned here. So what they want is these yogic mystic powers, and there are 8 of them. Um, and So basically, Prabhupada has mentioned here in the purport, they are Yama, Niyama, uh, I'm sorry. So they practice this eightfold mystic process. So the Yam, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, and by regularly these inhabitants of those lokas, they practice this eightfold mystic process, and they get these siddhis. So these siddhis are like Prabhupada has mentioned, or in this verse it is mentioned anima as one of the siddhis, but there are various types of siddhis, anima, lagima, like that, prapti. So like that, there are like mystical powers, and um, by using this milking process of uh, of transforming, so they transformed Kapila into a calf, and then they milked. They used the whole sky as a patra or a pot, and then they got this mystical siddhis. In the 20th verse, the inhabitants of planets known as Kim Purushaloka made the demon Maya into a calf, and they milked out mystic powers by which one can disappear immediately from another's vision and appear again in a different form. So there are um, different types of powers in different lokas, and so in Kim, here it's mentioned in Kim Purusha Loka. So Kim Purusha Loka, the inhabitants can perform many such mystical uh, powers, or they have this mystical powers, or they can demonstrate these mystic demonstrations. Um, and So Prabhupada says that the inhabitants of this planet can do whatever they like or whatever they imagine. Such powers are also mystic. Such powers are mystic powers. The possession of such mystic powers is called Ishita. And then the demons actually also they learn this mystic powers by the practice of yoga. That is what is so the process is the same. It's just the goals are different for different people based on their conditioning. So if they are conditioned, like if somebody in the mode of goodness, like Prithu Maharaj was in So he desired grains, he desired fruits and flowers. So that is what he got. And um, uh, the inhabitants of different planets, they wanted different things, and they were in um, different modes, and they desired different things. Um, So Prabhupada gives this story of Bakasur. So Bakasur appeared before Krishna, and his cowherd boyfriend is a gigantic crane. So he had this mystical power that he could become anything. So he became a crane, and Lord Krishna. So similarly, like that, like Krishna fought many demons, and like they all had like a lot of mystical powers. So this basically is this mystical powers is from Kim Purusha Loka, and the inhabitants of Kempurusha are naturally endowed with such powers, and one can attain these powers on this planet by performing different yogic practices. And then the last verse for today is how the yakshas also got what they wanted. So the yakshas, rakshasas, ghosts, witches, and who are habituated to eating flesh, transformed Lord Shiva's incarnation, Rudra, into a calf and milked out beverages made of blood and made them into a pot and put them into a pot made of skulls. So it's again like, these are the eatables for the ghosts and the rakshasas. Like, so they eat flesh and fermented blood. And the leaders of these degraded men, because Lord Shiva is very merciful. So his form as Rudra, Lord Shiva's form as Rudra, is in charge of the mode of ignorance. So that's why uh, he became a calf, and then that's how he um, milked. So I have this. Sorry, let me share my screen again. I wanted to share this table with everybody. I'll just share my entire screen here. So basically, this is what we saw in the verses that we did today. So who became the milk person? In India, we say milkman, but who became the milk person, and who became the calf, and what was their patra, and what they got. So these are the different. We only covered till verse 21 today, but it started from Prithu Maharaj from verse 12. What Prithu Maharaj, the calf was Swambhu Manu. What the patra was his hands, and then what they got was herbs and grains. Same thing we saw. What the sages, uh, they were the milkmen, and Brihaspati was a calf, and census and Vedic hymns. So this is what we saw up until 21, which was Yakshas, Rakshasas, and it will continue up until verse 24. We'll see that tomorrow, but this is basically the idea. The process is the same, but different people, based on um, their conditioning, they receive different things and they desire different things. So um, if anybody has anything else to add, please feel free. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Mataji. It's very nice. Hare Krishna.